Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and today I am back to talk about all of the fragrances that I wore last week. So I have a ton here again. I've been doing a ton of testing, and I've been going back into some of the smelly mail that has been sent to me and testing some of those things, and so I've just got a bunch. I'm gonna jump right in. I'll start with the full bottles first in case there are some of you that just aren't into samples. I'm gonna start with this one here. This is one of my favorite fragrances. I love this perfume so much. I have found this actually performs, sorry, let me tell you what we're talking about first. This is Lalique Le Parfum, and it's funny because I have found that this actually performs better in the heat for me than it does in the cold weather. I went through a season with this perfume where I was just obsessed with it. I was wearing it at least once a week. I love this perfume. This is a vanilla perfume, but it's got an Indian bay leaf note in it, and I really try to emphasize that every time I talk about this fragrance, because that note makes this either a love or a hate for some people. I absolutely adore it because I love an herbaceous smelling vanilla fragrance. It's just one of my favorite things in the world. It's also quite perfumey. It's a very perfumey, herbaceous vanilla, and I love it. It's such a rich, sweet vanilla. I adore it. But I think a lot of people go into this one thinking that they're gonna get, you know, like a typical vanilla or maybe a gourmand kind of vanilla, and that's just not the case. This is a very perfumey, herbaceous vanilla. This one, golly, I think I got maybe 3 or 4 hours out of it in the cold weather. It just didn't stick around for very long. I do remember that when I was going through my kind of obsession with it though, it was warmer out and I was wearing it a lot in the heat, and I was getting really good performance out of it. So yeah, I think it's just one of those fragrances that does better in warm weather or when there's a little bit of warmth in the weather. So anyways, that is the first one. That is Lalique Le Parfum. It's such a love of mine. Next, let's talk about this one here. This is from Dreamhouse Curio, and this is called White Rabbit. I adore this fragrance. This was one that I just started craving. It was one that, like, sometimes I will not even see a perfume for, you know, months. And it hasn't been months that I haven't seen this one, but it's definitely been, yeah, it probably has been a couple months since I've even looked at this. But it just popped into my head and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to wear it. This is just, it's such an oh, it also probably is because I just got those two. The person who sent me this bottle of perfume also sent me 2 more samples from Dreamhouse Curio. And I think that that's what got me thinking about it. I was like, oh, I need to pull out my White Rabbit. It's beautiful. This is the perfect time of year for it because this is like a vintage smelling white floral, but it dries down to this beautiful kind of gourmand vanilla fragrance. But the vintage florals never fully go away. They kind of mellow out. Once it dries down to the beautiful gourmand vanilla, you don't get a ton of the vintage florals anymore, but they're definitely still there. And I adore this. I adore it. It makes me feel like I'm wearing something from the 80s, but it's also very modern smelling. And I've never come across another perfume in my life like this. As far as the vintage white floral part of it goes, I've definitely smelled a lot of other fragrances like that, but I've never smelled one that dries down to like this gourmandy kind of vanilla. It's just amazing. This thing is an absolute beast too. You can easily get 8-10 hours out of this. It'll last forever on clothing. It's lovely. So anyways, yeah, that is Dreamhouse Curio, and it is called White Rabbit. It is amazing. Okay, next I wore this one here. This is one of my Perlineras. This one is called Ataraxia. This is similar to, it's similar-ish to Black Opium. It's like a sweet flowers and coffee kind of fragrance. But this one is, it's cleaner smelling than Black Opium. And I absolutely love this. I think when these first came, it was one of those weird weeks where it was getting up close to like 70 degrees, even though it was like the middle of fall. and I think I tried it in that kind of warmer weather. I think I even mentioned that I needed to try this in some cooler weather because it was a little warm when I did try it. So yeah, I gave this another really good full wear test in cold weather, and it performed beautifully. It was one of those fragrances where like every time I was moving, I was getting a whiff of it, and it's just beautiful. It's such an easy fragrance to wear. And the florals are a little bit more prominent in this than I would say they are in like Black Opium. It's just stronger and richer smelling than Black Opium. It's just beautiful. And it's different. It's got like a, I don't know, it's got a little bit of a, like a crispness to it that you definitely don't get with Black Opium. It's a beauty. I love this one. It's gorgeous. And this is gonna end up being one of my easy reach cold weather fragrances, I think, for sure. So anyways, that one is Ataraxia from Perlinera. Okay, next I wore this beauty. This is Chloe Nomad Absolute de Parfum. I just talked about this in a video, and I've kept it pulled because I knew I wanted to wear it before I put it back. And I love this. I think I prefer this one over the original. I love them both, don't get me wrong, they're both amazing perfumes, but there's just something so smooth and buttery smelling about this one. It's sweet, but not overly sweet. I just love it. It's got the Mirabelle and the oak moss. And this one, the original one, has a sharpness to it. It's got like a sharpness to, I don't know if it's a floral in there. I think it is. I think it's like a sharp kind of floral in the original. This doesn't have that sharpness. This is all rounded edges. Oh, it's beautiful. It's just a tad bit musky too. So it's like this musky, Mirabelle, floral, buttery, smooth, rich, and very dense smelling perfume. This thing is an absolute powerhouse. This is one that once you spray this on, you're done. Like, you're not gonna be able to wear anything else that day because you're gonna smell like this for 12 hours easily. It's very, very long lasting. It performs incredibly well, and so does the original. In fact, every single Chloe fragrance that I have, except for Love Chloe, Love does not perform very well. I can get a few hours out of that one, but every other Chloe fragrance that I own is just an absolute powerhouse. Yeah, and I just love them. So anyways, that is Chloe Nomad Absolute de Parfum. I did wear some of my Andromeda's Moon fragrances. The first one is this one here. This is inspired by Vaniglia Del Madagascar from, I think it's I Profumi di Firenze. This is beautiful. It's a bourbon vanilla fragrance. This one, I actually wore this one to bed, and I couldn't smell it when I woke up the next morning, so I don't think that this one performs super well, but I don't want to tell you that definitively because I didn't, you know, I did just spray it on and then I went to bed and I probably fell asleep maybe an hour later. So I don't think it's fair to tell you how it performs until I give it a really good wear test, like during the day, which I'll do that this week. I'll spray this on before I go to work one morning, and which gives me a really good idea of how something performs because I'm constantly looking to smell my own perfume the entire time I'm working because I don't know, it brings me comfort, it makes me happy. And so it's a really good way for me to gauge how long a fragrance is lasting because I get really, really disappointed if something wears off before my little 5-hour shift is over. So yeah, I'll test this one morning this week and I'll let you guys know again, but it's beautiful. It's Vaniglia Del Madagascar is a very, very popular, very hyped up niche fragrance. So I think a lot of you know what this smells like. It's just a really beautiful bourbon vanilla. I think it's totally worth it as far as, because I don't think the original performs very well either. It's an amazing clone. And I think for the price, I would absolutely go with the Andromeda's Moon over the original because I think they probably perform pretty similarly. So anyways, that is inspired by Vaniglia Del Madagascar from I Profumi di Firenze. Gosh, I've got so many more fragrances to talk about. This is crazy. I've just been going crazy recently because I just have so many to test. And so as soon as something wears off, or even if it gets close enough to being worn off that I feel like I can spray something else on, I do, like immediately. So there are days that I'm wearing like 3 and 4 perfumes in a day. Okay, so the next one I tried is this one here. This is inspired by Poets of Berlin from Wilhelm. It's funny because I did film a Wilhelm video. It is in partnership with Twisted Lily though, and the actual sample set that they sent me, it's like a discovery set, is not going to be available until January. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but I just wanted to say it so I can tell you that I have smelled quite a few, not all. I haven't smelled the entire Wilhelm line. It didn't have all of them, but it had quite a few. It did not have Poets of Berlin, but I do believe I've got a sample of Poets of Berlin, which is probably in storage, unfortunately. So I may go over, I know where all my samples are in storage, so I may go over and get them out, and so that I can test, because I would really love to do an Is It a Dupe video. Somebody made a comment on the video where I hauled these saying that she smelled the entire line from Wilhelm and she was not blown away by any of them. And I'm not gonna lie, I was not either. There are a few that I really like. She said Mango Skin was the best one. I absolutely agree. I love Mango Skin. It is the most realistic, juicy smelling mango fragrance I've ever smelled in my life. It is absolutely incredible. To me, it is the absolute best one. Poets of Berlin, I love too, but she said she liked it when she first sprayed it on, but then after it dried down, it ended up smelling really generic on her. I could totally see that. This one gets compared to Marc Jacobs Decadence. I have a feeling the Andromeda's Moon one is better. And I say that because there's something really, really green in the top of this. And it is fantastic. It is beautiful. It translates on skin beautifully. It does smell like Marc Jacobs Decadence, which is weird, because you wouldn't associate something green like smelling pleasant with Marc Jacobs Decadence. But this is lighter and crisper. It's not quite as rich smelling as Decadence. It doesn't have the plum in it that Decadence has in it. And this one dries down to the most beautiful vanilla, but it's like a floral vanilla, but like a green floral vanilla. I love this one. I am head over heels in love with this one. So I feel like I have to go get my sample now, because I have to test this next to the real thing. I'm pretty sure I've got a sample of the real thing. There's a chance I don't, but I'm pretty sure I do. And I am dying to test them side by side now. But I do remember when I smelled the sample of Poets of Berlin, I didn't think much of it. I thought, oh, it's nice, but I wasn't blown away by it. But the Andromeda's Moon version of it, gosh, I absolutely love it. But it could just be because I've given this one a full wear test now, and I really just sprayed the Poets of Berlin like on a piece of paper. I didn't even try it on my skin. So it could be me just being crazy. This might be an exact clone for the real thing, and I just didn't give it enough of a chance. So I might be obsessed with Poets of Berlin the same way I am with the Andromedas. I love it though. If you like Marc Jacobs Decadence, and if you can imagine this really beautiful, bright, fresh green note in the top, and then like take away the plum, and it dries down to this really beautiful like green floral vanilla. I love it. I love it so much, but I absolutely agree. Mango Skin is where it's at. With Wilhelm, that for me has been the best fragrance that I've smelled from the house. This is definitely a very close second though. It is amazing. So anyways, that is inspired by Poets of Berlin from Wilhelm. Okay, and then the last Andromeda's Moon that I tested is this one here. This is inspired by Sweet from Lolita Lempicka. This is so good. I love this. It's funny because I did not have high hopes for this because Sweet does not perform well at all. I adore it. It's got this cola lip gloss accord, if I remember, like a cherry cola lip gloss accord in it. And you can totally smell it in this clone. And this thing performs amazingly. This actually stays on. I sprayed this on at about 6 o'clock in the evening, thinking that by the time I went to bed, it would probably wear off. It's not really a bedtime perfume, but I was thinking that I would spray it on at like 6, probably by 8:39 when I was gonna go to bed that night, it would have worn off and I would be able to spray on a bedtime perfume. It never wore off. So I ended up sleeping in this. This ended up being my bedtime perfume, which was perfectly fine. And I could still smell this on myself when I woke up in the morning. So this is an absolute winner. Not only does it smell so close to the original, which I've got a sample of the original as well, which I'm gonna have to get out of storage, and I'll do an Is It a Dupe video for these ones too. But this is a winner. This is one that I absolutely will order a full bottle of. If I ever go through this one, I don't know, sometimes I think I'm gonna fly through something and then I'll need to order a full bottle, but then I never fly through it. So this might be plenty for me, we'll just have to see. But anyways, that is inspired by Lolita Lempicka Sweet. Okay, and then I did wear a couple of my linen sprays from Cocoa Pink. The first one I wore is this one here called Black Vanilla. I absolutely love this. This is like a really rich, just a really beautiful, sweet, rich vanilla. The black part is, so Cocoa Pink, whenever it has black in the name, it's their, I think it's their blend of like a resinous amber, like amber and resins. So that's basically what this is. It's black vanilla. It's like amber and resins and vanilla. And it's amazing. It's so good. It did not last very long. I sprayed this on as a base. Now I didn't put it on my clothing though, and I think that's a real key. You really need to put these on your clothing because I had a very different experience with the second one we're gonna talk about. This one I just sprayed on my skin when I got out of the shower, and then I put on my clothing, and then I put on another perfume. I forget what I layered over this. I think I layered Lalique Le Parfum over this is what I did. But yeah, next time I wear this, I will spray it on my body, and then once I put my clothes on, I will spray it on my clothing and in my hair. It's got a beautiful consistency to it. It's got a little bit of like a moisturizing, I don't want to say oily because it's not oily, but just the slightest bit of like some kind of a humectant in it. It's got to be the glycerin. It's got glycerol in it, which is probably some derivative of glycerin. So it's got this really nice moisture in it, and yeah, I love it. So there's that one, Black Vanilla. And then I also wore this one here. This is Cozy Blanket, and this might be my favorite one that I picked up. I am absolutely obsessed with this fragrance. This is warm and kind of skin-like and clean and vanilla. It's got a bunch of vanilla in it, but it's like a clean, cozy, warm, almost like a clean laundry smell, cozy, warm vanilla. I adore it. It's like the perfect scent. I'm gonna pick this up in the perfume because it's amazing. This one, I was smart. I realized with Black Vanilla that I should have put it on my clothing. I've had so many people say that it lasts a really long time on clothing. So with this one, I was smart and I sprayed it on my body and all over my clothes and in my hair. And I didn't put another perfume on with this one. And I got a good 4 or 5 hours out of a linen spray. It's a linen room hair and body spray. So yeah, I got a good 4 to 5 hours out of it. And then I went ahead and started applying other perfumes, but this is an amazing one. I would love to have this, like, every product in this scent. I would love to have like a body oil in it or a lotion. I'll probably pick up a body cream and then a bottle of the perfume. It's such a good scent. It's like the perfect, easy to reach for everyday scent. It would make a perfect signature scent, and it is the perfect combination of a warm, cozy, sweet skin musk and vanilla combination, which I'm obsessed with both of those things. So anyways, that one is called Cozy Blanket. Such a good one. Okay, then let's go over all of the samples that I tried. So the first one I tried is this one here. This is from Genre Parfums. I'm just obsessed with this little house right now. This one is called Essence. So this one reminds me a ton of Cacharel Yes I Am. When I wore it and I sprayed this on in the morning and then went to work, And every time I moved, it was, number one, it was really, really strong. It projected for a good 2 hours. And then after that, when it started wearing closer to the skin, it was just still so fragrant and present, and it performed really, really well. I got a good 8 hours out of this one before it died down enough that I was able to spray something else on. And I love it. To me, it's very, very similar to Casual Yes I Am, which I adore that fragrance. It's such an amazing fragrance, the original one. So anyways, yeah, that is Essence from Genre Parfums. Next, I wore this one here. This just came in my last little batch of Smelly Mail. This is Gallagher Fragrances Behold Patchouli. I am obsessed with this patchouli. Oh my gosh, it is so good. This is like a citrusy patchouli and I love it. This is one, I need a full bottle of this, which is funny because I like patchouli, but for me, I feel like I've got all the patchoulis that I need. I've got Choco Patchouli or Vienna 1900 from Matthew Meleg, and then I've got Reminiscence Patchouli. Those are both two absolute like powerhouse patchouli perfumes. I don't feel like I need another patchouli in my life, but I have to have this. This is an amazing patchouli. For me, this is like an everyday patchouli. You could literally wear this every single day and it would be amazing. And yeah, I'm not even gonna spray one more spray because I do want to save it. I want to savor this. Yeah, I just want to savor it. So I adore it. It's such a good one. It's very, very different. It's a very unique patchouli. I have never smelled anything else like it. I get emails from Gallagher, so hopefully I'm hoping that they'll do a sale maybe around Christmas or around the new year like they did last year, and I will pick up a full bottle of this because it is incredible. So anyways, that is Behold Patchouli from Gallagher Fragrances. Okay, and then last but not least, I've got 3 here that came in a Smelly Mail batch around Halloween. A beautiful subscriber who I'm absolutely in love with. I love her. She sent over a beautiful little care package around Halloween, and she sent a whole bunch of samples. The first one I tested is this one here. This is called Full Gallop, and this is from Diana Vreeland. I tested this one at night. It was as like a bedtime perfume, but I sprayed it on probably 6, maybe 7, probably about 7 o'clock in the evening. This is like a violet perfume, but it's kind of like a slightly dark violet perfume. Gosh, I absolutely love it. It's like a woody violet, a woody kind of slightly dark, but still sweet and a little bit powdery violet. I absolutely loved it. It's amazing. I think they have these fragrances on FragranceNet, so I need to look for them. This is an amazing violet perfume. So anyways, that one, and this one was a beast. I could still smell this one when I woke up the next morning. And after I sprayed it, my husband and daughter went somewhere and they were gone for a good hour and a half, 2 hours. And when they came back, I had gone to bed and my husband could smell it as soon as he walked in the door. He was like, "What is that perfume you sprayed?" And I was like, I don't know, I spray, you know, and by that time I had completely forgotten because hours had passed, but he could still smell it as soon as he walked in the house. So that's how strong this one is. It's a good one. So anyways, that is called Diana Vreeland Full Gallop, really good one. And then I have another Diana Vreeland here. This one, I think I like this one even better than the Full Gallop. This one is called Empress of Fashion. I love this one because it's kind of like a sweet floral. It's a little bit maybe peppery, like a little bit peppery in the top and then maybe with some light woods in the base. You almost kind of get an oud feel from it, but it's really, really light. There's probably not oud in this, but it's almost that kind of a woodiness. Like you think of the most delicate oud ever. And that's kind of what the woodiness is like. And it's also got just the slightest touch of almost a smokiness. It's mostly like a light, sweet floral, but it's a mysterious floral. It's beautiful. I love it. I love what this one did on my skin. This one is awesome. So yeah, this is one I definitely need to look for a full bottle of because I really, really enjoyed this one. So this one is called Empress of Fashion. And then last but not least is this one here. This is Lord of Misrule from Lush. This is, I love this one. It smells like a Lush store. It's like a sweet, clean patchouli scent. It's amazing. It's an absolute beast too. This one is like borderline nuclear. It will stay on forever. This was one that I didn't wear another perfume that day. This was all I wore, and I was perfectly happy smelling this all day because it's such an amazing smell. Some of the Lush perfumes are kind of mediocre, but there are a few of them that are just amazing. Rentless is one of them. Lord of Misrule is one of them. Yeah, in fact, this is what I think of when I think of a Lush perfume, because this was one of the first ones that they ever released. And I had a sample of it. I got a discovery kit of all of the fragrances and I think it was back in 2010. Yeah, I think it was either 2010 or 2011 was the year that they released perfumes. And I remember I immediately got a discovery set of every single one that they released, and Lord of Misrule is one of the originals. And so it's very nostalgic smelling for me. It smells like a Lush perfume. It's amazing. I love it. So anyways, that is Lush Lord of Misrule. And then I had one candle that I burned through, and I think that this has been my favorite Goose Creek candle yet. This is the China World Traveler candle, and the fragrance is called Sweet Honey. Oh, this is the best one. This has been hands down the best candle from Goose Creek yet. This one was really sooty though. You can see there's a lot of black on it. It was very, very sooty. It didn't burn the best. You can see one of the wicks like just stopped burning, so it didn't burn very well. But this one is the best one. If I ever came across this one again, I would order this and multiple backups. It was really pleasant and delicate smelling and sweet. It smelled like creamed honey is what it smelled like to me. Like creamed honey, like warm creamed honey, and it made the whole house smell beautiful. It wasn't overpowering. It was just, it was an amazing candle. So yeah, that is, if I ever come across this scent again from Goose Creek, I don't care if it's China World Traveler, if it's just like a honey candle, I don't even know. I need to track this down and hope that they still make this fragrance in some form, because I need more of these candles. This one was so good. So anyways, that is the Goose Creek candle. That is the China World Traveler Sweet Honey candle. And that is gonna be it, guys. Those are all of the fragrances that I wore last week. I do hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.